All right. Hello again, adventurers, and welcome to another exciting daily vlog. This is daily vlog number 179. And that means we are one day away from having been doing this for half a year, which is nonsense. So, today, quick update about Lila last night. Ran the game. It went as well as could be expected. For that particular campaign, the campaign was Legend of the Three Kingdoms, and the players themselves were going through an area that I call the Webwood. And the thing about the Webwood is, while yes, there's lots of spider webs and giant spiders and driders and stuff in it, that's actually not where it gets its name from. Lore-wise, it's been called the Webwood long before spiders started living in it. The reason it's called the Webwood is it plays tricks with your head and actually kind of webs up your mind. And the players went through it once before, and they had a fight. They couldn't travel on the ground floor, and so they actually went up into the trees because the canopy there is so well developed that there's actual like pathways and stuff. Like you can almost live in the canopy. So in the canopy, they fought a bunch of driders and giant spiders. Well, this time I wanted them to have a bit of a different experience, and I was getting bored with just throwing combat encounters at them. So I wrote up some prompts of just weird things that could happen, and I had each player either roll or I rolled for them to pick one of the 8 prompts that I had. And they were all like, here, I actually have them here. I can read you the prompts that I made. And they were just designed to be obstacles that the players had to overcome that they really wouldn't be able to use combat to fix. And they were intentionally written to be vague, without any sort of solution or really any explanation aside what was there. Like the one that they dealt with last night, because they had to do 4 of these, one for each character. The one they dealt with last night was the forest floor ahead of you is covered in thick, sticky webs to the point that you can't see any of the floor beneath it. And we've established in my game already that spider webs are highly flammable. And we have one player who fires the solution to absolutely everything. And because in this particular area, I embellished that description a little bit to say, yeah, the floor is completely covered. The webs that are hanging from the trees are significantly thicker and stickier than you're used to seeing, and all this stuff. And so as they start asking questions about it, I just start filling in blanks. Blanks that I didn't have written... Sorry. Blanks that I didn't have written beforehand. I just went, you know what, I'll make it up as I go along. And it turned into them trying to figure out exactly what this was. And they found out that the webs, quote unquote, were not actually webs. They were a type of fungus. And here's another thing that a lot of people don't realize. Fungi, in general, are not plants. They're not even part of the same kingdom. When you talk about taxonomy and how you kind of differentiate different creatures and species and things like that, the highest place where there's a differentiation is the kingdom. So it goes kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. So at the kingdom level, you have the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, and then you have the fungus kingdom, which I don't think it's called fungus. There's a scientific name for it, but fungi in general, completely different thing. So the question comes up, player goes, hey, can we invent a spell? And I go, what spell do you want to invent? I want to invent a spell called Speak with Fungus. And I go, oh yeah, fungus aren't plants. Like they're a completely different kingdom of things. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to say, if you want to burn a spell slot to cast Speak with Plants, I'm going to say that fungus are close enough to plants that you can still speak to them. So I didn't want to deal with the idea of, okay, well, how are we actually going to create this spell, and what's going to prompt the actual creation of the spell and everything like that. So I'm just going to, well, we're going to say in my game, uh, Speak with Plants works on fungus. So I have no idea if that's going to break all of Dungeons and Dragons, but that was my ruling. So they start speaking with the plant, and I mentioned it's going to be weird because you're using Speak with Plants to speak to a fungus, so it's probably going to have a really weird accent. And I was just throwing that out there to be funny, and then the entire table is like, "We want to hear the accent. Do it." And so I have this really bad Kiwi accent. If you're not familiar with the term Kiwi accent, it's a nickname that I think Australians gave to New Zealanders in their accent, because the New Zealand accent is remarkably similar to an Australian accent, but it's different. One of the things that I noticed specifically about the New Zealand accent is there's less diphthongs in it. If you're not familiar with the term, diphthong is a linguistic term, and it's basically a term for when your mouth has to move to in the middle of making a sound. So, like in American English, the vowel, the long vowel sound for the letter A, is a diphthong because it's A. It goes E. So A. That's what's called a diphthong. In the Australian accents, depending on how thick it is, if you get a really thick Australian accent, they don't have any what are called pure vowels, which means they don't have any vowels that aren't diphthongs. It's most pronounced when you hear someone, it doesn't even have to be an extremely thick Australian accent. Almost all Australians, when they say no, it's no. And again, so the New Zealand accent has a few less diphthongs. They have a few pure vowels in there. And so they get to this giant monstrosity of a fungus creature that's trying to eat them. And the ranger goes, "Hey, we were just wondering if we can get through." And I go, "Oh, really sorry. No can do. I need to eat you. So, yeah, just kind of come in and I'll eat all of you, and it'll be real quick, you know? It'll be like 6 to 7 weeks, okay?" And I understand that my accent is atrocious. But again, they were using a spell that's not supposed to work, so it makes sense that the accent was really bad. And so, yeah, they had this entire conversation with this killer fungus that's just going, "No, I think I'm going to kill you. I think it'd be best for everyone involved, is I'll just kill you, and yeah, try and not make you suffer too much." So yeah, I made it through. My brain is still really, really foggy, and I don't know what's causing it. So yeah, it could be a side effect of this seizure. It could be. Here's the other fun thing: depression can cause cognitive instability in general. Like it can mess with your memory, it can mess with your ability to think straight, it can mess with everything. Anxiety can cause cognitive issues and cognitive impairment. So the fact that I have both of those and then I can't treat either of them and then I also have conversion disorder, in which physical symptoms can have psychological causes. So I have 3 different things that could be fucking my brain over. And I don't know which one it is. Or it could be that something really bad happened because of that seizure. I might have hit my head strange and don't remember it. Could have just been the violent shaking. Like, I might have a mild concussion. Who knows? It was another fun fact. All a concussion is your brain is kind of suspended in here in a bunch of fluid. And a concussion is basically when your brain impacts and kind of scrunches up against a part of your skull, because that's not good for it. So theoretically, even though I'm not having epileptic seizures, which are literally like little lightning bolts going off in your head, it doesn't mean that they're safe. And so I might have a mild concussion. I have no idea. I don't. I know what a concussion feels like from years in martial arts. Um, and I know the signs of a concussion. And other than the fact that I keep having really bad nausea, which is a symptom of a billion other things, I haven't had any other symptoms of a concussion other than, again, this cognitive shit. So who knows? It's getting slowly better. Um, yeah. My life fucking sucks and I really hate it. But I'm alive. And yeah. Still playing through the Elden Ring DLC. I've only got a few bosses left that I need to finish. One of which is an evil freaking flower that needs to die forever. Um, Slight spoiler alert if you weren't aware that there are aggressive flowers in the Elden Ring games. Um, so, yeah, and then Dawn Trail Early Access starts at like 4 a.m. tomorrow. Which, due to the fact that I'm effectively nocturnal, I might be up long enough to play a few hours before I go to bed. So that should be fun. I'm looking forward to the Viper class because it's got two swords that you can turn into like a sword staff, and I like those things. I think that's super, super fun. If you haven't checked out my custom class, one of my custom classes for D&D 5th edition, the Dragon Knight, one of the classes actually has you using a sword staff that they call the War Blade, and I really, really like it. So, yeah. Otherwise, yeah, that's going to be all for me today. I'm still kind of exhausted from everything that's been happening over the past week, so see what happens. It's looking like I should be able to run my Zelda game on Saturday, so hopefully that will work better than it has been. We'll find out. But it's all for me today. I will see you guys next time. All right. Bye-bye.